6 eyes, limitless, infinity. The strongest sorcerer in over 400 years, a man so broken the government was scared of him, a guy who beats S-tier curses like it's a warm-up set. And then he loses. To a guy, in a box, off-screen, like damn this! So today we're not just clowning the writers, we're actually breaking down why Gojo got nerfed. The narrative reasons first, the why did the story need this. And then, no bias, we're looking at the actual in-fight, in-lore reasons he lost. Because believe it or not, some of it actually holds up. Let's get into it. Let's talk about why Gege Akutami basically had no choice but to take Gojo off the board. This isn't random hatred for the fanbase's favorite man. It's structural. Reason 1, he breaks the entire stakes of the story. If Gojo's in every fight, JJK isn't a shonen anymore. It's a documentary about a guy cleaning up curses on his lunch break. Every villain, every arc, every tense moment. None of it matters if the strongest guy alive just shows up and ends it. Sukuna, Mahito, the whole culling game, all of that collapses into a non-issue the second Gojo's fully active. The story cannot function with him unrestricted. Period. It's like playing a horror game, but you spawned with a shotgun and infinite ammo. Cool for you, terrible for the vibes. Reason 2. Thematically, JJK is about the next generation, not him. The entire manga is built around passing the torch. Yuji, Megumi, Nobara, Yuta. These are supposed to be the ones who define the future of Jujutsu society. Gojo represents the OLD problem, a system where power is hoarded by one insane monster instead of being taught and shared. Thematically, the story literally needs him gone, so the theme lands. Keeping him around forever would be like writing a coming-of-age movie where the parent solves every problem the kid faces. Doesn't work. Basically, Gojo's whole purpose by the second half of the story was to be really cool, say some quotable lines, and then die so the kids could have character development. Tragic, efficient, kind of savage when you say it out loud. Reason 3, Sukuna needed a final boss moment, and nobody buys it if Gojo's standing right there. The King of Curses can't be the scariest thing in the manga if the literal strongest sorcerer in centuries is casually alive and well nearby. For Sukuna's threat level to feel real for the finale, Gojo had to be removed from the equation, permanently, so the tension of, is anyone going to survive this, actually means something. Now look, none of this is knocking the man himself. Gojo carried this franchise's marketing, its fan base, its merch sales, probably half of Crunchyroll's subscriber growth. The guy is a genuinely elite character. This isn't slander, this is just business. The plot had bills to pay and Gojo was the collateral. Okay, now let's actually be fair about it because a lot of people just say plot armor and stop thinking. There's real in-universe mechanics at play here too. 1, the prison realm ceiling. This wasn't some random ass pull. Mahito, Geto's body being piloted by Kenjaku, and the whole setup was specifically engineered as a trap built around Gojo's own domain mechanics. It exploited the fact that his 6 eyes and Limitless require insane precision and concentration, and it used someone who Gojo trusted and hesitated against, Suguru Geto's face, to slow his reaction. That's not a random nerf, that's a legitimately well set up ambush, using knowledge only his old best friend would have. 2, losing 6 months of feeling. After getting released from the prison realm, Gojo explicitly says his senses feel dulled after being sealed away from all sensation for that long. That's an actual in-story explanation for why he's slightly off during the Shibuya aftermath and the fight with Sukuna later. Not just convenient writing, it's addressed on page. 3, Sukuna in Megumi's body. This one's honestly slept on. Sukuna isn't fighting Gojo as some random vessel. He's using Megumi's body, meaning he inherits access to 10 Shadows techniques on top of his own absurd curse technique, insane physical stats, and centuries of battle experience. Gojo isn't just fighting Sukuna. He's fighting Sukuna plus a whole second arsenal. That's a legitimately harder matchup than people give it credit for. 4, domain expansion mechanics. Sukuna's malevolent shrine has a sure hit effect that guarantees damage if it connects. And, crucially, Sukuna's domain has a wider effective range and faster activation in their clash. In JJK's domain versus domain rules, whoever's domain wins the clash, based on technique power and the user's overall strength at that moment, gets to land guaranteed hits. This wasn't Gojo being written as suddenly weak. It was Sukuna, canonically the strongest curse in history, actually performing at the level he's been hyped as for the entire series. 5. Gojo actually fought smart, and still lost to a genuinely stronger opponent in that exact moment. This is the part people skip. The fight itself isn't Gojo being dumbed down. He adapts, he pushes Sukuna hard, he even gets Sukuna to acknowledge him as a real threat. The story just finally introduced an opponent who was built up across the entire manga as possibly being above him, losing to the single most hyped villain in the franchise, in a fair fight where both sides go all out, isn't the same as being written badly. Sometimes the strongest guy in the room just isn't the strongest guy in that room. So, was it plot armor or not? Honest answer. It's both, and that's okay. The decision to nerf Gojo was 100% narrative necessity. The story needed him gone for pacing, theme, and stakes. But the execution of how he lost was actually built with legitimate in-universe logic, foreshadowing, and mechanics that had been set up chapters in advance. That's different from, say, a character just randomly forgetting how to use their power, because the script needed a loss. So no, Gojo didn't get nerfed because Gaga woke up and rolled dice. He got nerfed because keeping him alive and unrestricted would have made the rest of the cast completely pointless. And then he died the way anime legends die, fighting the single most broken final boss in the franchise, looking cool the entire time, quotable to the very last second. Quick foreshadowing honorable mentions before we wrap up. Geto's death and resentment toward Gojo, planted books ago, directly sets up the prison realm trap. Sukuna's strongest in history title gets repeated constantly pre-fight. It's not a twist, it's a payoff. Gojo himself states multiple times that strength alone doesn't guarantee survival. Thematically, the story is honest with you about what's coming, if you're paying attention. So yeah, was Gojo robbed? Kind of. Was it actually well set up? Also kind of. Anime doesn't have to be one or the other, and honestly that's what made this arc hit as hard as it did. Let me know down in the comments if you think Gojo could have won in a straight-up no-plot armor fight. I want to see the debate today. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.